let's go ahead and get started. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing another anti-MLM video. We're going to be reacting to another video. This is an Arbonne one. I feel like I always do Arbonne. Arbonne's just a very interesting one for me because I feel like they have, since they have so many products, I know that the consultants have not tried every single product and they're trying to sell and focus their media and their, knowledge on like certain things, so there's people who are just try their best to be knowledgeable about the nutrition part of Arbonne, but it's like they have 300 different products in skincare, hair care, makeup, and they don't know anything about that. So it's really hard to kind of be informed about every single product, which is why it doesn't work out for me. But today I thought I would try to be as formal, I guess I should say. I actually wrote down a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into that. Please don't send any hate to anyone in this video. If you know who it is, don't say who they are down below. Doesn't really matter who it is. It is going to be someone that has been on my channel before, but please don't send any hate down below. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started with that. And I think it's also really important to mention that just because this particular individual is in an MLM, is in Arbonne, that doesn't mean that they can't be informative and we can't learn something from them. Though I don't agree with, their job title and what they do for a living, that doesn't mean that we can't be respectful about if we're learning things. That doesn't mean like every single thing that they say is wrong, because there are some facts in here that I didn't even know about that we can all just learn together. But there are a couple of things that are contradictory and some things that are just straight up not true, and you will see that later on in the video. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of blending all that out right now. And then we're going to go in with our concealer in the shade Light. You guys, I never thought that Clean Cosmetics would not necessarily be great, but I never thought that I would like fall in love with them. Like I definitely were like, okay, well, they're on the market, they must be like at least decent, right? But I never thought I would use Clean Cosmetics over other things that I was using. And boy, was I wrong, because Clean Cosmetics are the way to go. Because you think about it, you spend all this money on skincare. This is the Sonia Kashuk sponge. It comes in a pack of 2. But you think I'm going to spend all this money on skincare, right? But then you're not going to spend good money on your makeup. And that doesn't really make sense to me. So when I really made the switch, I was able to see, all right, like these products do wear just as long. The color payoff is just as great. The ingredient policy within our cosmetics is insane. And the cosmetic industry is, you guys, so corrupt. I was in it for 10 years. And it just really is something that you don't really see. You don't really notice until you're out of it, if that makes sense. So I worked for some big name brands, trained by, different brands, big name cosmetic brands, skincare brands, stores that are products that are in Ulta and Sephora and different beauty supply companies. And I never really realized, the significance of Clean Cosmetics. I really just never did. I didn't, not necessarily understand the point, but I didn't see that there was an issue, if that makes sense. And so what happened was over time, as I started to be more and more in tune with the cosmetic industry and ingredient policies and really what sets cleaner brands apart, I started to realize there's a really big injustice in the community, in the cosmetic industry, and nobody in the community is really talking about it. So that was like a big kind of game changer, because it's really true. Like, you don't really understand like the difference that it makes when you're paying attention to the ingredients, because some of these ingredients that are in the cosmetic industry, when I say cosmetic, I mean makeup and skincare. But some of these ingredients that are in these brands, I mean, look up rendering factory. You'll die. Some of the emollients that are put into skincare and cosmetics are made in rendering factories. Like different ingredients that are, found in basically hurting animals. So brands that don't do animal tests, don't test on animals. Like, these are things we should be taking into account when you are choosing to support a brand. And like I said, I didn't know any different. That was, I think, the biggest thing is I just didn't know any different. And so once I made the change, and I had been around Arbonne for, guys, half my life. My mom's been with Arbonne for 14 years. So I didn't know any different. So really educating yourself on the importance of not just good cosmetics, but clean cosmetics. And when I say clean cosmetics, I mean a company that cares about the standards and the ethics that their company is being run and how they're producing products is really important. And so,
okay, so we're gonna stop it right there. I have a couple things I want to talk about. I actually looked up the definition of clean cosmetics, or what it means if something, for a product to be clean, because we hear that a lot, and by now I'm sure a lot of us have kind of picked up on the fact that the word clean is just like a buzzword. It doesn't actually mean anything. So I actually looked up this definition of clean products. Yes, so this is from greenmatters.com, and it says a basic definition of clean beauty is a product that is safe for human use and does not include any toxic ingredients. The thing is, the meaning of words like clean, safe, and toxic are not easily defined. Not to mention, there aren't any regulations around the word clean, meaning a company can claim its products are clean even if they are filled with ingredients that might be unsafe. So even words like clean, toxic, stuff like that, those are all buzzwords, and I feel like the majority of my audience, at least, or the majority of people that watch my videos kind of understand that. She says clean a lot. And if you look online, Arbonne has their whole thing on what clean beauty means to them. And I was reading it, and they also have their never list, or whatever it's called, like the products that they never use, or the ingredients that they never use in their products or whatever. It says, it's 2,000 or 1,000 and 1,400 or something like that. I click and it doesn't even show the actual full list. So I think you have to do a little bit more digging in order to figure that out, but I didn't want to do that. So claiming something is clean, that's just a marketing word. There's no actual scientific backing on if something is clean or not. It's just what a company chooses to claim is clean or not. So that could literally be anything. Upon my scrolling and upon my researching, I found this article that the more I read it, the deeper, the more shit basically got pulled up from underground, because there was so much more to the story. The digger you deep, the deeper you dig. I found this article from someone called Megan Telfner. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Megan Telfner. So she originally wrote an article about Arbonne and reviewing their products back in 2013, and this was kind of her update. This was published in 2020, September 2020. I'm just gonna read one part of it, but I'm gonna link the article down below because you guys have to read it, because it just goes more and more it's crazy. So she says, when I asked the Arbonne consultant who I interviewed for this piece what training the consultants have in order to make recommendations for specific creams and lotions for skin conditions or supplements for clients' health needs, she said it's up to She said it's up to the consultant to get their education beyond the company's own promotional material and training. She compared it to asking an employee at a drugstore to recommend a vitamin. Yeah, she also wrote in that, you know, a lot of Arbonne's supplements and things like that they claim are pure, their skincare, they all say that they are botanically based. And in this article, it points out that nearly everything in the world once came from plant or earth matter in some form or another. So you can really say anything is botanically based because everything had to come from some earth matter. She also goes on to, you know, to kind of like show how it's not like their not allowed list that they have. She goes on to explain how their not allowed list is kind of just something that they also use as a marketing tool to sound better to the average consumer. So it says, Arbonne celebrates a very long list of 1,400 ingredients that are banned from their products. This might sound incredible and awesome to the average consumer, but what if some of those ingredients were things like almonds, hazelnuts, salt, pollen, and MSG? Also found on that list is alprazolam, sold under the name Xanax, barbitrates, a central nervous system suppressant, lorazepam, lorazepam, an anti-anxiety medication, diazepam, an anti-anxiety and anti-seizure drug, also commonly known as Valium. And she says, isn't that a relief to know that their face cream is free of nervous system suppressants? My question is, how will I treat my anxious cheeks and depressed eyelids before bed if there's no Valium or barbiturates in my cold cream or toner? Yeah, she also explained how after her article that she published back in 2013 that Arbonne kind of finally released their ingredient list and made it easier to find on their website. She said that it wasn't very easy when she was researching it at the time, but since then they released their product list for every product. And she kind of talks later on about how they really try to claim how all of their products are really pure and really clean, but she explained, and I researched this too after I read it in here. So they have a product called, it's from their RE9 line. It's a skincare line, whatever. But it's from their RE9 line, and it's the Renewal Intensive Cream. I don't really know what it's supposed to do. Let's see what this is supposed to do. This super concentrated formula helps reduce the appearance of fine lines, balanced with a light, silky texture. Advanced peptides, antioxidants, and essential botanicals work synergistically within the formula to hold in moisture and help enhance the look of skin, smoothness, and firmness. So good, your skin will never want to be without it. And I clicked on the ingredient list, and it's, first of all, the ingredient list, I'm gonna show you if it'll load. Okay, this is the ingredient list. Like, that's a long ass list. So one of the very first ingredients after water and cyclopentasiloxane, what even is that? Let's look that up. This is a long ass name and I want to know what that is. Is a silicone regularly used in cosmetic products? Okay, so I guess silicones isn't something that they care about for being on the skin. Literally took 2 seconds to look up. Okay, anyways, so the next ingredient, it says polymethyl methacrylate, methacrylate. Confusing name, but you click on it, and this is from the article, and it's on the website. I'm looking it up right now. I'm just gonna click copy and paste. So polymethyl methacrylate. That's just how we're gonna say it. I know it's probably wrong, but who gives a rat's ass? Also known as acrylic or acrylic glass, as well as by the trade names Krylix, plexiglass, acrylate, lucite, whatever. It is a transparent thermoplastic often used in sheet form as a lightweight or shatter-resistant alternative to glass. Real clean, huh? Yeah, I definitely want to put that on my skin. Even if it is safe, I thought their whole thing, like, even if it is safe, which that doesn't sound really safe, because later on we'll see, like, how this specific person takes so much pride in the fact that they're so pure, and the fact that every other brand in the world basically is just poo-poo garbage, and you should throw it away and replace all your stuff with Arbonne, which is another thing, which I think I mentioned that in Should I Support an MLM video. If you want to watch that, I will leave that linked below or in the cards if I can figure that out one day. Something that kind of bugs me most about Arbonne specifically, aside from all of the other MLMs, is the fact that since they have so many different products, they're so like persistent on you replacing every single product that they offer with Arbonne stuff. Like, if Arbonne started selling candles, you got to replace all your candles. If Arbonne starts selling, like, I don't know, socks and underwear, you're gonna have to replace all of that, all of the ones that you have already, with their stuff. That's what bugs me the most, because Arbonne has so many different types of shit that you have to replace all of their stuff, all the stuff you already have, and then buy their things, and you have to buy it yourself with your own money. Like, makes me so, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Ugh, okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the video.
In choosing Arbonne, I'm just also patting translucent powder under my eyes. So in choosing Arbonne, I really know that, okay, yes, our cosmetics are great. I love our makeup. It literally is so beautiful on the skin. Majority, I would say 95% of all of my looks are makeup or Arbonne Cosmetics. The rest of them are like random things that like I have or I haven't gotten rid of, or things that I love in my routine that still, as far as a brand goes, are held to pretty high standards. And so, I really think that it's so much more than, wow, this makeup looks great. You should be paying attention to so much more than that. As consumers, we should be paying attention to, okay, this brand is amazing and so on and so forth, but how is their company being run? How is their company giving back to the community? How is their company trying to be better for the world? How is their company trying to do X, Y, and Z, as opposed to just mass-produced products, right? So that's a really big thing.
Okay, so we're gonna stop that right there. Here's the thing. So a couple things. One, she said that the only other products, that there's, a few loose products in her bag, in her makeup routine, that aren't Arbonne, that she just loves, and they're from brands that are held to a pretty high standard, and brands that she, loves, and that she thinks that the products are good and that the companies ran well and yada, yada, yada. So tell us about those brands. Like, in this entire video, she only talks about Arbonne, which is fine, but the whole point of her video is her talking about how the makeup industry is so corrupt and how we have to pay attention to the product list and the ingredient list, and how we have to pay attention to what we're putting in our skin and educating ourselves. And it's like, if you know, like, sis, if you know something about these other brands that are held to high standards, that are good, reputable brands, like, why don't you tell us what they are so we can do our own research and educate ourselves? But she only wants to tell us about Arbonne. So, I mean, a little biased because she does work for Arbonne, but it's like, if I work at a restaurant, like, it's okay if I tell you about another restaurant that isn't my, that isn't my work to go to, you know what I mean? Like, if I work at a Chili's, it's okay for me to recommend Rubio's. It's like, that's okay to do, you know what I mean? Like, Chili's isn't gonna come pound at my door and fire me and arrest me for talking about a different restaurant. She also says that we have to focus on, how is a company being ran, and what are their ethics? Are they good or not, basically? How are they being run? Because, well, she said, how are they being run? But I think it's supposed to be, how are they being ran? I don't know. Leave it in the comments below if you know what the right grammarly usage is for that, because I'm pretty sure it's ran. I mean, I don't really think I have to explain it if you guys already know anything about Arbonne, but if you don't, I think that's a very interesting point to make, considering that Arbonne has lawsuits upon lawsuits of their products, their company structure, their freaking income disclosure statement. I'm like, it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. Like, if I was in Arbonne, I would do everything I can to not show that, because like, one person made like $1 in the whole year. Like, I don't know, something like that. It's freaking crazy. I'll pop it up right here. You guys can kind of take a gander at it if you want. Do whatever you want with that information, but it's not the prettiest sight to see. They have unscrupulous activities that they forego in their company that the consultants are either unaware of or in denial of. Like, think about back how we were talking earlier. Think about the fact that Arbonne has, like 420 products. The fact that they have so many different products, she talks about, like, how is the company doing XYZ as opposed to mass producing products. And it's like, doesn't Arbonne have like a gazillion different types of just different products and stuff? Like, I wouldn't want my skincare to be near like their nutritional stuff, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want my makeup to be near the same company or to be near the same factory or the same workspace as their nutritional stuff. You know what I'm talking about? So, and especially since they're such a big MLM, they're one of the biggest MLMs, I'm pretty sure, which is like, whoop-de-doo. Who's to say that, and she fails to prove that Arbonne is even, isn't doing that or is doing that or anything like that. She fails to prove that Arbonne isn't doing the same thing to mass produce their products, which I wouldn't doubt if they weren't, because they're one of the biggest MLMs, because they have a shit ton of different products that they have to mass produce because they're one of the biggest MLMs. So it's like,
so that's a really big thing. That has opened my mind. I'm going to go in now with our pressed powder in the shade Dark. This is actually what I use to warm up and bronze my face. And then I go in with our contouring palette and add a little bit of extra definition. And this is just a Morphe brush in M527. But you guys, I think that's something that not a lot of people are talking about, because people are like, I love this makeup, brand, why would I use anything else? And I get that. I was one of those people. And then I really educated myself on the ingredients as far as parabens and chemicals and toxins that are found in the cosmetic industry, and words like tallow. Like, didn't know what tallow was. Now I know what tallow is, TALLOW. And I'm like, or how certain, colors are made and what they're made of.
So I actually looked up what tallow was for your guys' sake. So tallow, this is the definition from Wikipedia, is a hard fatty substance made from rendered animal fat. Yeah, that's just the basic definition of what it is. So obviously that's something that grosses her out. And you know what? If you're trying to, use vegan products, or you follow a plant-based lifestyle, I understand how that can be like disturbing to you. I understand that is an animal product, but the issue that I have with this specifically is the fact that, yeah, that's kind of gross. That's everyone's personal opinion. But I don't think that should be something that should be judged on. A lot of companies use tallow in their products. Kind of like how I was saying earlier, yeah, there's a lot of companies that are also against the same things that Arbonne are against, but they also don't have a in the middle of this, perfect storm. Again, I would like for her to mention some other brands that we can support that aren't Arbonne that would be really helpful. But that's just kind of how it is in MLMs. That's kind of the MLM way. They are very persistent on their company or their MLM being like the one and only, the holy grail, which obviously is not true. We know that.
And what I mean about this specifically is that people in MLMs, whenever they first join, they always like to say that they somehow have this new profound love and passion for vegan, cruelty-free, nutrition, working out, like whatever the MLM kind of shows out. They always claim that they have like this new profound love for all these different type of things, but only for a very specific type of cultures or very specific type of products or anything that the MLM will basically tell them to. So in Arbonne's case, you will see people who are either have already been into let's just say cruelty-free or vegan products, and then all of a sudden they join Arbonne, and it's like Arbonne is the only brand that does cruelty-free and vegan products correctly. So that's just a very interesting note that I wanted to point out about MLMs in general.
There are tons of videos out there showing how these companies' products are just, they're dog shit basically, or how, and even if their products were, the best thing on the planet, that still wouldn't matter because there's other companies who can probably do better. Yeah, I understand her wanting to educate people and all of that, but I don't think you're not really educating us as a class if you're not giving us the information, the links or, anything of where you got this information from. So I kind of had to do all of that myself.
As far as beetles, the wings of beetles are made for certain eyeshadows, and this is worst case scenario, right? We've come a long way in the cosmetic industry, and so many people are fighting for the injustices of clean cosmetics and the cosmetic industry as a whole, that I think it's something that just needs to be talked about. And so I want to share, just because it's not in a store doesn't mean it's any less great. I'm going to go in now with Meteor, by the way. Just because it's not in a store doesn't mean it's any less great or it doesn't perform as well. I use Arbonne in majority of all of my makeup appointments. There are a couple things just because of color purposes and brows and stuff like that I use some Anastasia products. I myself use some Anastasia products just because I like a certain effect for my brows that I have yet to master. But I think when we talk about the cosmetic industry as a whole, it's something that, you guys, how do I say this correctly? So the average woman puts 12 products on her body in a day, right? The average amount of toxic, and when I say toxic, like they are chemicals that lead to diseases and imbalances in the body. The amount of toxic chemicals within those 12 products is over 100. I think I've put on 30 products just in my makeup alone today. So, you know, when you're thinking about, okay, like I wonder why these diseases.
So I have a little bit of an issue with this buzzword, toxic. Toxic has really been taken off as a word, as kind of an adjective to describe literally anything that could be bad for you. You know, we hear people saying that that person's toxic, that this product is toxic, that blah blah blah. And I don't know if we have Britney Spears to blame or who took this and uproared it into this firework of a show that it is now, but I don't like it. I don't like describing products or foods or things like that. I don't like describing things like that as toxic. I don't know. Unless I'm singing Britney Spears toxic. That's the only exception. I think we can all agree on that. You know what I mean? So I looked up the definition of this toxic word that she is explaining to us. Toxicity is the degree to which a chemical substance or a particular mixture of substances can damage an organism. So since the definitions are very vague, we can kind of understand, take this with a grain of salt, you know? It's like when people started telling us, when the iPhone started coming out, the people started telling us that, oh, being on your phone too much can cause cancer, or sleeping with your phone next to you can cause cancer, and blah, blah. It's like everything can cause cancer. Like everyone kind of knows that, and it's kind of been thrown out into like a meme. It's been kind of thrown out as a joke that literally everything can cause some cancer, you know what I mean? And I think that kind of goes the same with toxic substances, because literally anything can be toxic if you do the right stuff, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's something that we can just kind of just be like, just throw about, which is why people, when they heard that iPhone thing, like, oh my gosh, like you can get cancer by like sleeping or like being on your phone too much or whatever. That's why people weren't really too worked up about it, because they're like, oh, also if you go outside for a little bit, you can get cancer from the sun, but it's only if you don't do certain things. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much little nooks and crannies to bob and weave your way through in order to make that statement actually true, which is why I don't really like the vague word of toxic being used in like the cosmetic industry.
Okay, so I didn't do the best job of describing why I brought up this article in the first place, but basically what I'm trying to say is, yeah, certain things can cause certain illnesses or diseases or whatever. That can be blown out of proportion. You can kind of take that with a grain of salt, and that's kind of really up for debate. But when people kind of argue that certain cosmetics and certain, like, you know, beauty products and stuff like that can cause certain, you know, certain like if they're toxic or whatever, they can cause certain, you know, illnesses or diseases or whatever, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, we can take that with a grain of salt, but people only wear like these beauty products or put them under their skin at all because of a beauty standard. So it can kind of go into like a deeper topic of changing the beauty standard and why people like put those products on their face at all, like anti-aging creams or, you know, face masks or things to get rid of their under eye bags or anything like that that could potentially have bad, you know, chemicals or can have like potentially dangerous ingredients in them. It's like, well, if we just stopped wearing them, then no one would think that it'd be weird. Like if everyone stopped wearing all these products and everything like that, then we wouldn't think that that it'd be weird that no one would be wearing makeup. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense either, but basically that's what the article is talking about. It's kind of discussing about changing the beauty standard as a whole for like all of society. So yeah.
And it says, it kind of explains how we can change the beauty standard to appreciate our natural bodies, to appreciate like, okay, like my skin, like I'm starting to get wrinkles now, or okay, my hair's starting to go gray and blah, blah, blah. So you don't have to worry about, okay, well, my hair's going gray. I'm going to use this hair dye now to cover it up. It's like, that's just a beauty standard, you know what I mean? That's kind of the whole thing with like the cosmetic industry, which isn't like new news, but that's just something I really like to drive home. Like, I personally kind of go through, you know, my own turbulence of, you know, standards and stuff like that. I'm a pretty confident person when it comes to like how I look, but there aren't, like, sometimes, like, it's so weird how drastically your opinion about yourself can change, or your standards can change, because before, like back in high school and a little bit in college, I was like, I won't go outside unless I'm wearing makeup. Like, I have to be wearing makeup all the time, have to be looking good all the time. And then something kind of hit me around the middle of college where I was like, you know what, like, who cares? I think around the time where I started my YouTube channel, actually, I was like, who cares? Because I've always kind of been a person who didn't care what I seemed like to other people, but I put on the makeup for myself, and I'm like, well, if it's for myself, if I can just change that mindset, then I won't have to wear makeup for other people. And so I changed that mindset, and now I hardly ever wear makeup. Obviously, I'm wearing makeup right now. Go figure with this whole speech I'm giving you right now. But yeah, it's kind of just like, I don't think that it's okay if you want to wear makeup every once in a while, you know what I mean? Like, you do you. If you want to wear makeup all the time, you do you. For me, I think I'm prettier without makeup, which was totally different, you know, back when my junior year of high school. I thought I was only pretty with makeup on, and now I see myself with makeup on, and it's just kind of like, ooh. I don't really know. I don't really like it sometimes. That's kind of my whole rant about the toxic buzzword that she uses in this, because I don't like it. Also, something I wanted to point out that I forgot to mention in the last part, or in the last clip, was she just talks about how she, you know, is fighting for the injustices in the beauty industry, and how she didn't know about certain things that were in products and blah, blah. And I'm like, what company did you work for? Like, what company did you work for where you didn't know about any of this stuff in like the beauty industry, or any of the products that you use that you use on your clients because you're a makeup artist? Like, what kind of stuff did you even learn then? So that's a little scary.
So, you know, when you're thinking about, okay, like, I wonder why these diseases are happening so much more, and I wonder why hormonal imbalances are happening much younger, in children much younger these days, and you know, even down to like girls, like young girls, like why they're starting their cycles earlier. Like, there is a serious imbalance in food and the cosmetic industry. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying this causes this, but there are studies that say certain chemicals cause certain reactions in the body, and because of that, you should just do a little bit more research. Like, look up things like parabens, and look up things like synthetic fragrance, and look up things like perfumes and stuff like that in cosmetics. What's a couple other ones? Mineral oil. Like, these are things that are put in the cosmetic industry that are easy to access. They are cheap, and because they're easy to access and because they are cheap, they're using them left and right in order to mass produce brands, right? So as I sit here and I do I would say 99%, everything other than my brows is going to be Arbonne today, 99% makeup look, and obviously you can see as good as I do that it's beautiful and it's wearable. okay person. Before you guys freak out, this is the Arbonne Makeup Setting Spray in the MAC bottle. I just love this bottle. I love the sprayer. So I buy 4 makeup setting sprays at a time, and I fill this up before everyone freaks out. So,
obviously she said some very shocking things. I heard this and I was like, I'm sorry, what? So I did a little digging, and the part where she says that girls basically can start their period earlier because of the stuff that they're wearing now. So I found this article back in 2018. Chemicals and cosmetics and perfumes linked to earlier puberty in girls. Okay, so it says researchers in California looked at levels of chemicals commonly found in personal care and household products in pregnant women and then in their children at age 9. The children were assessed regularly for milestones of puberty from age 9 to 13. Girls who had been exposed to higher levels of chemicals in the wombs or at age 9 reached some milestones up to 2 months earlier. It shows a list of the chemicals that were involved, stuff that were in perfumes, shampoos, and deodorants. So it says the study does not prove that chemicals were the cause. However, the associations between chemicals at age 9 and earlier puberty could be because children who reach puberty earlier may be more likely to use personal care products and cosmetics. So this hasn't been exactly proven. You gotta really dig deep and read the certain things. So it says, you know, black and white on the freaking phone. This hasn't actually been proven to be because of certain substances or ingredients or whatever. It could be hereditary. It didn't take that into consideration. It didn't take environmental influences like food or, you know, exercise, activity level, things like that. So it's really like, is this really true or not? Can we really believe that? That's all personal opinion to make up for yourself. So I just wanted to point that out, and let's go ahead and continue on.
okay, you know, maybe my mascara is running out. Let me support my friend that has a small business. That's a clean brand, right? My foundation is running out. Let me try something new in my friend's brand. And you know, I was a creature of habit, working for different and having access to so many makeup company or makeup products, I would say. I was very, very used to, okay, this is the current best thing, and this blogger uses it or this person uses it or whatever, and so I'm going to use it too. And the amount of products that I purchased because somebody was marketing it well, I don't even use the majority of them. And so, you know, one thing I love in the beauty of Arbonne is we don't pay marketing. Our consultants are our marketers. And so what we're doing is we are cutting out the middleman that really inflates prices, right? So
This is stressful. This is stressful. This is stressful. Do I need to say it? Do I need to say it? I think you guys know what I'm gonna say. How does cutting out the middleman in your marketing system benefit the consultants? Are they paying you extra to market their products? No. You're advertising and marketing for them for free. For free. And you can say that, because we hear all the time that, oh, if I like this product and I talk about it online, why not get paid for it? A lot of these MLMers say it. It's like, yeah, why not get paid for it? But you're not getting paid for it. You're getting paid well, technically you are, because you're getting paid to talk about it, to reel in and persuade other people to want to do the same thing so that they can go. But what's confusing, what's the baffling part about this specifically is that she's kind of talking like she's like the head of Arbonne, like she's the freaking CEO of Arbonne, because she's saying, yeah, like We cut out the middleman. Like this was her idea, or like, oh, this idea is so revolutionary for Arbonne. It's like, yeah, it's revolutionary for everyone but the people who want to work in Arbonne. So, which is what you are. You're working in Arbonne. So how does that help you? How does that help you? Like, she's talking good about something that doesn't benefit her in any freaking way, shape, or form. She's talking positively about the company's punk ass marketing system, the fact that they don't have to pay squat shit for marketing. She's talking positively about that for the people who actually own Arbonne, because we all know you don't own Arbonne. Your friend doesn't own her own small business because she didn't do nothing. They make it like if it was her own small business, they would give her the products for free. They would give the consultants the products for free to sell it for different people. You know what I mean? But that wouldn't even be your own small business because you basically didn't do anything. You didn't come up with the product. You didn't come up with squat shit. You didn't come up with the product, the name, the ingredients, nothing. So whoop-de-doo, you're marketing to them for free. Is that what you want to advertise? Really? Okay. Let's continue.
In the cosmetic industry, there haven't been any major changes with Congress and when it comes to cosmetics since the 30s. You guys, that's almost 100 years ago. Can you even think in the last 2 to 5 years how much the cosmetic industry has changed and how many people are creating brands? Like I saw a meme the other day that said if Kylie Jenner didn't have Kylie Cosmetics because everybody else said what's the word I'm looking for? The market is too saturated, she wouldn't have $1 million makeup brand. That's just continuing to grow. And so, you may be sitting here thinking like, how in the heck or how in the world am I going to sell makeup or share cosmetics in an industry that so many people are already purchasing from their favorite? I'm here to tell you, especially in Arbonne, our job is to educate other people. Our job is to not slam product in people's faces. Our job is to not tell you like this is right and you are wrong. Our job in Arbonne is to be servant leaders that are fiercely and loving other people. And with that comes sharing the injustices of the industries. And so, we are a highly consumable brand. We have over 420 products and we're growing. And so I sit here before you and I have a conversation in regards to the cosmetic industry and me having a background in the cosmetic industry and telling you that there is a better and a cleaner way.
Okay. Didn't she just say our job isn't to tell you that this is right or this is wrong, and now she's telling us there's a better way? Not full face contradictory, but has an underlining scent, aroma of contradictory. Also, the thing about the whole makeup industry being saturated, first of all, in the makeup industry, just in general, I'm gonna get to the Kylie Jenner part in a second. In the makeup industry in general, it's so many people are starting their own makeup companies. Selena Gomez just came out with hers, Lady Gaga, Kesha. So many people are coming out with their own makeup companies. And then it's why? Well, the makeup industry is $1 billion industry, obviously. There are a shit ton of YouTubers that have that are makeup gurus or whatever, and when a new product drops, when a new company launches or whatever, they review those brands, those companies. So it's there are still people out there who wear makeup all the time and really love doing makeup, and they may still be searching for their favorite whatever, and the new company might make a better and cheaper version of a product that they may already love. There's so many different routes that you can go with the makeup industry, and that's why it's $1 trillion billion industry. And also the thing with the the thing with the Kylie Cosmetics thing making millions, like if someone told her that the market was saturated and she didn't do it, she wouldn't have $1 million makeup industry. It's like, okay, obviously that's someone, whoever made that meme has been told many times that MLMs are saturated. So Kylie Jenner is famous, okay? So people are gonna buy from her just because she's Kylie Jenner. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of guilty of stuff like that too. When an artist that I really like puts out something, I'm gonna support them even if I don't like the thing that they're putting out in music-wise. Like, if they put out a song that I just really am not vibing with, I'm still gonna listen to it and support it because I love that artist. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that whole thing with when Black China joined Monet. It's like when that girl was saying, oh, like Black China, like these celebrities are joining Monet. They wouldn't do it. They don't do it for the money. They do it because the products are so good. It's like, really? Are we throwing all logic out the window, replacing it with delusion? Because that's kind of what I'm picking up right now. That's not a very good argument either, because there's no way to prove that. And also, Kylie Jenner's gonna do whatever she wants. She's gonna do whatever's gonna make her money. If someone is gonna tell her about freaking Monet or whatever, she'll probably join it. And also, Arbonne is totally saturated. All of these MLMs are completely saturated, and we know that. That's just a straight up lie. That's just a way to kind of drive you away from the fact that the market is saturated. Not the makeup market. We're talking about the multi-level marketing system that you're in. That is saturated.
Okay, so I didn't do a very good job of explaining this either, but I think it's because I was like really hyped up on this. But the whole reason of why MLMs are saturated is because, one, there are only so many people to buy from. There's only so many consultants, and you can't recruit everyone on the freaking planet, so not everyone can make it up in the company. And two, because in terms of like the makeup industry, there are always going to be consumers. It kind of ties in with reason one, like there's only so many people on the planet, but people are always going to be buying makeup, and it's like an industry where not everyone's going to be starting their own makeup company. Like if I buy a bunch of makeup products, I'm not going to start my own company because I like the products that I like. Obviously, there will be people who will start their own makeup companies, but that's not going to be everyone on the freaking planet, where in terms of MLMs, they rely on everyone joining in order for everyone to succeeding. And obviously, that's not a plausible reason either.
There's only so many things, and there's only like so many people on the freaking planet Earth that you can buy from. You know what I mean? It's like it's like everyone knows someone that's in an MLM, that's in at least one MLM. And it's like, how is it not saturated if we get everybody in the whole world? Woo, I want everybody in Arbonne. It's like, okay, we get everybody in Arbonne. Now what? Who the fuck are we gonna sell to? And that, my friends, is why the market is saturated, because if you actually do recruit everyone on freaking planet Earth, there ain't gonna be nobody else to freaking sell your products to. This whole MLM structure, it's genius, but it's also completely idiotic. So you gotta really pick a side of, do you wanna be a completely idiotic or a completely smart company? Anyways, I'm sorry about that little rant, but let's continue.
And so I was the same way. I was a creature of habit. Why the heck was I ever going to ditch my MAC Cosmetics or ditch my Too Faced Cosmetics, Smashbox Cosmetics, so on and so forth? But when I use the word over and over, educate. When you educate yourselves and you gain more knowledge of what ingredients do and how quickly they're absorbed within our bodies within contact, it changes your mindset a little bit, and it alters your mindset, and it really makes you think, okay, wait a minute. Did she just say that everything I put on my body goes into my bloodstream in less than 30 seconds? Yeah, she did. Did she say that I can change what that looks like just by using and making smarter choices and cleaner products? Yes, I did. And so I'm not telling you to never wear makeup again, but I am telling you that there are companies that take pride in knowing that they have done extensive research and they have scientific testing and they're backed by experts and things like that to truly give you a clean brand that is not just clean for themselves, but clean for the world as well. So it's not just about producing amazing products. It's about what we give back to the community and to the planet and how our brand really takes care of that as a whole. Because you guys, you cannot have one without the other. Like if we as companies are not taking pride in, long lasting brands and how we can truly separate ourselves from the rest, then slowly but surely our world is just going to continue to, thank you. It was actually black and I bleach dyed it. If you know me, I literally bleach dye and tie dye everything. But what I was saying is, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. What I was saying is, hold on, my mouth is all dry. What I was getting to is there is an injustice. And if we don't talk about it, who's going to talk about it? Right? And so, there are celebrities that are endorsing different cosmetics left and right. And there are big name brands that are marketing out the yin yang, especially now towards the end of the year. You guys, towards the end of the year, cosmetic companies explode. You want to know why? Because they pay so much money to market their products because they push sales for the holidays. You guys, women and men always want products that are taking care of what they look like, right? And that may sound a little shallow, but I don't mean it in that way at all. I just mean if we look good, we feel good, right? If you take care of yourself and you care about what you look like, then in return, some people may feel like that makes them feel better.
So if you're ugly, then you don't feel good. I'm just kidding. I know that's not what she meant, but I just thought that'd be funny. Also, she has a Bond Babe cup. Bond Babe. I know she's trying to word it her best that like some people believe that if you look good, you feel good, yada yada yada. But I think it should be more, and this is kind of personal opinion, but I think it should be more of, I think doing good makes me feel good. If I do something that's nice or something to help out someone a different way, I feel like that's how it should be, because I'm tired of this whole beauty standard of like, look good on the outside and then you feel good on the inside. It's like, it's so surface level, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, she was like, some people think that, but also I'm promoting off of that.
And that's not necessarily right or wrong or true or false, but I will tell you that if you are somebody that puts on makeup every single day or puts on skincare every single day. Also, this is the cream blush from the Cherry Blossom line, and I'm obsessed with it. I like it like after I've applied all my powders to like just give like a little bit of fresh, dewy kind of cheeks. So it just adds like a little bit of like sheen. But if you are somebody that wears products on a daily basis and you are not concerned about things like the ingredients and how they're processed and where they're processed and where they're sourced from and what the effects they have on your body and your bloodstream, then I'm here to tell you that you are mistaken just like, the rest of the world. I think it is so highly, I guess I didn't word that wrong, but it's very easy to be sucked into mainstream media and marketing to the cosmetic industry and to the skincare industry. Somebody's like, oh my God, this worked for me. My face is amazing. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And so what I encourage you to do is if you're choosing a brand and you are choosing to use a specific brand, do your research. Figure out where their products are sourced from. Figure out where their ingredients are sourced from. Figure out where they are shipping from and what that all entails and looks like, because it is important. You may sitting here thinking like, why would I care? I get my product and I'm over it. But it's something that needs to be talked about. And
okay. Couple things with that. Like, I understand that there's definitely value in doing your own research and coming to your own opinion about things. I'm not the biggest fan of, crass wording and kind of talking down to people it kind of comes off as belittling, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. It kind of comes off as belittling, as do your research. Like, I'm so sick of people saying do your research. Like, how about you do your research on some freaking manners, right? Don't talk to me like that. If you're gonna come to me, talk to me like that and say do your research, you're walk out the door. You better walk out the door. Try again, because you're not talking to me like that. No way. I thought the whole point of this video and the whole Arbonne's like mission statement is to educate, and I kind of just feel like I'm being shamed for liking the products that I liked. The thing with Arbonne is they like to say, since they have freaking 420 products, that there's something for everybody. But what if I try something and I don't like it? It's like, okay, well, there's something, we have so many different products. It's like, am I just supposed to have to keep trying products and keep buying products until I find something that I like, just so you can make a sale or something, just so you can move up? That's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. Like, why? Who would do that? Is that what they're trying to convince us? Like, that it's just completely corrupt, completely illogical, and at face value, yeah, I do agree that there are certain injustices with cosmetic industry, and I do agree that people should do research about what they're putting onto their skin, into their body. But what if they did do that? What if they already did that and they're using a product that they like, that all the ingredients they're okay with, where they manufacture, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's some people that are okay with it. I'm not here to tell you if that's good or bad, but it's like, what are you supposed to say to the people that already done their research and came to their conclusions? And that conclusion wasn't Arbonne. Like, now what? If you want us to do our research about Arbonne, we will. We'll see those freaking lawsuits.
If you know me and you follow me, like, I have no fear in talking about things that I'm passionate about. And the injustice of the cosmetic industry is something that I'm very passionate about. And it comes down to so much more than just, oh my gosh, this product, and oh my God, that product. It's brands as a whole and how they plan and choose to run their company, take care of their clients, take care of, their impact that they're making on the community as far as what their products entail and how they make them and those sort of things. And these are things that you may not think about on a daily basis. And obviously, like, it's taken me a lot of, my thought process is definitely, my wheels are turning right now, because when you talk about something such as this, you have to make sure that you're giving the right information. And so there are other companies, very few, that are actively working to make a change in the beauty industry. And there are a bunch of companies that are actively working to figure out, okay, how am I gonna, make a change in, what we're allowed to put in our products. You guys, I don't know if you know this, but does anybody on here, if you're an Arbonne, you don't get to answer this, but does anybody know the amount of chemicals that are banned, toxic chemicals that are banned in the United States? I'm going to give you guys a few minutes.
First, she has a bloom tattoo on her hand. If you don't know what that means, bloom is Bloom Nation. That, I don't know if it's like a group of Arbonne consultants or what, or I think that's just what people in Arbonne call themselves in general. They call everyone that works in Arbonne the Bloom Nation. So there's that. It's 12. They banned 12 ingredients or 12, substances or whatever. And do you want to know why I know that? It's because every freaking Arbonne consultant says it. Every single consultant says it. And like I said earlier, Arbonne's is 2000. But that's not really something that you should be bragging about, because we looked at that list. We talked about it in that article that I read earlier. Again, I will link that down below. They say it all the time. It's like their number one thing that they love to say. Oh yeah, so let's say Arbonne does do charity work, right? Let's say that they do all this stuff that's really good for the environment, which if they do, like, I will applaud them for that. But let's take a step back. Should I be applauding that? Do we reward a fish for swimming? Listen, I understand that it's very important for companies to be fighting for stuff like that, for making sure, for fighting for injustices, or for, you know, doing charity work, raising money for different stuff like that. I think that's super important, but that's something that companies should kind of already be doing, especially a big, reputable, highly consumable brand like Arbonne. One good thing doesn't cancel out all the 500 million terrible things that they do. Like if someone cheats on you like consistently throughout your relationship, and then they get you flowers or a nice watch for your birthday, does that cancel out all those 15 times that they cheated on you? If you want us to actually be informed, you would tell us about all the terrible stuff about Arbonne too. I do think we should support a company that takes care of their employees and their customers and cares about the well-being of the planet. Stuff like that is important, but this is just straight up misleading because Arbonne isn't that. They place too much value on the things that they shouldn't be placing value on, like recruiting people into the freaking triangle, and that allows people to fail, like hard. Anyways, we're almost done with the video. This is gonna be the last little clip for you.
Let you think that through. The amount of chemicals that the FDA technically doesn't regulate cosmetic industry, if you didn't know that. But do you know the amount of chemicals that are banned within the US? I will tell you, it is a terrifying number. It's 12. It's actually gone up to about 18, between 18 and 20. Some states are different than others. But you guys, that's insane. The European standards are 13 to 1500, and Arbonne bans over 2,000 harsh chemicals and ingredients in our products. 2,000 compared to 20? Why is that not being talked about? Why are people not bringing that to light? Why are people not fighting for products that are being sold by the billions? Because the cosmetic industry is actually $1 trillion industry. And growing. So why are we not talking about these things, right? Why are we not angry that these are things that people don't take seriously? You guys, think about how much younger kids are wanting to wear makeup. Think about how much faster kids are growing up these days. I have an 11, almost 12-year-old sister, and every day she grows before my very eyes, and it breaks my heart. Like, breaks my heart. But here's the thing. I know that there are ways that I can protect her. I know that there are ways that I can take care of her. And I know that educating her about skincare and makeup and things like that is something that I can do to make a difference in her life. So I really just wanted to get on here and kind of talk about that and just kind of go over some product knowledge and some of my favorites and stuff. So a few of my favorite Arbonne makeup things, if you've never tried our products, is I cannot live without our CC cream. I also cannot live without our concealer. Oh my god, it's literally the best.
Okay, so the rest she's just talking about different products. And again, we can go back to that hormone thing that we mentioned earlier, that article about that can kind of be linked to anything. But something I wanted to point out is that she seems just frustrated that people just don't have the same opinion as her. You can't really change everyone's mind, okay? That's point blank period. And I'm sure she knows that, and I'm not here to ridicule and, you know, talk down to her about that, because I'm pretty sure she knows that you can't change everybody's mind. That's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that even though you try, you can't get mad at people for having the opinion that they have, knowing the things that you know. Picking up what I'm putting down, so that's kind of the point I wanted to drive home. Also, way to talk positively about the Arbonne's eyebrow line. Yikes. Anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to show in the video. Again, there was a lot of stuff that I really wanted to talk about because I saw it and I just could not believe what was happening right before my pupils. So yeah, figured I would do a little highlighted comment, and this is from Peanut Forever, and it says, she had a thriving makeup business with some of the largest names in the beauty industry for numerous years, yet she had to wait tables on the side and make ends meet. She grew up with the amazing leaders and products that are Arbonne, yet when she turned 18, she did everything she could not to join. Nothing she says makes any sense whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure she had no idea because she had been fooling herself for so long. And I have to agree with this one because it kind of just shows, first of all, that this girl kind of has a history of contradicting herself in her own video. And two, it kind of just proves that you can't take anything that you see from these MLMers or anything that you see from any of these companies like that. You can't take it, you know, you have to take it at face value, and almost all of it is fake. You know what I mean? Most of these are just completely blown out of proportion. That's just something that I wanted to highlight, and I want to thank Peanut Forever for commenting that. And if you want to be mentioned in the next video, go ahead and leave a comment down below. It can literally be anything in the entire world, but if I think it's funny enough, you're gonna be in the next video. And what a pleasure that would be. So anyways, I want to thank you guys for coming with me on this journey, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.